Hey guys, my name is Brandon Fairfax, and today for the children's narrative literature piece of the course, I've selected to read Where the Wild Things Are. Now, this was written and all the stories are done by Marie Sendak. I've chosen to read this specific piece for a lot of reasons, but the primary reason being that I clung to this story quite heavily as a young boy. Now, this was something that my reading comprehension could get behind from a child's perspective, and it's my go-to, right? So when I was young and I wanted to read something, I pulled this book out, and this was the one that made all things right in the world. Now, the plot itself follows the main character, Max, as he has some fallout with his mother, and he tries to escape his mother, and he seeks happiness elsewhere, but the moral of the story is that there's no better place to be than by the side of your mother who loves you, a part of a loving home as well. So without me giving too much away of the story, I can just dive straight into it and read it for you guys. And Where the Wild Things Are, a story in pictures by Marie Sendak. The night Max wore his wolf suit and made mischief of one kind and another. His mother called him Wild Thing, and Max said back to her that he's going to eat her up. So he was sent to bed without eating a single thing. Now that very night in Max's room, a forest grew and grew and grew until his ceiling hung with vines, and the walls themselves became the world all around. And an ocean tumbled by with a private boat that was just for Max. And he sailed off through the night and the day, and in and out of weeks, and almost a full year. He sailed to where the wild things are. And when he came to the wild place where the wild things are, they roared their terrible roars, and they gnashed their terrible teeth, and they rolled their terrible eyes, and they showed their terrible claws. Now this was until Max said, "Be still," and tamed them with magic trick. Off, staring into their yellow eyes without blinking a single time. And they were frightened, and they called him the most wild thing of all. And they made him king of all wild things. And now, cried Max, let the wild rumpus begin. And they partied, and they danced, and they had a wonderful time. Now stop, Max said, and he sent the wild things off to bed without eating their supper. And Max, the king of all wild things, was lonely again. And he wanted to be where someone loved him best of all. Then, all around from far away across the world, he smelled something good to eat. So he gave up being king of where the wild things are. But the wild things cried out to him, "Oh, please don't go. We'll eat you up. We love you so." And Max said no. The wild things roared their terrible roars and gnashed their terrible teeth. They rolled their terrible eyes and they showed their terrible claws. But Max stepped into his private boat and he waved goodbye. He sailed back over a year and in and out of weeks and through a single day and into the night of his very own room, where he found his supper waiting there for him. And most importantly of all, his supper was still hot. Thank you guys for listening to this. I appreciate it. Thank you for letting me share this with you guys. So, thanks.